This is President-elect Joe Biden. He's facing a situation that hasn't happened in 32 years. He is likely to be entering office without his party controlling both chambers of Congress. Right now, as it stands, the Democrats hold the House of Representatives by the slimmest majority in 20 years, while the Republicans currently hold the majority in the Senate, 50-48, with 2 seats yet to be determined. And the races for those seats both just happen to be in the state of Georgia. Let me explain. In 2016, Senator Johnny Isakson was re-elected for a 3rd term, but by the end of 2019, he retired due to health reasons. So on December 4th, 2019, Republican Governor Brian Kemp announced Isakson's replacement.
Today, I'm proud to announce that conservative businesswoman and political outsider Kelly Loeffler will be Georgia's next U.S. Senator.
But that didn't mean that Loeffler would serve the remainder of the Senate term. Nope, there needed to be a special election. And over 20 candidates threw their hat into the ring, including Democrat candidate Reverend Raphael Warnock and Republican Congressman Doug Collins. But in the November election, no one candidate received over 50% of the vote. So Georgia election rules dictate that the top 2 candidates, Loeffler and Warnock, will now compete in a runoff on January 5th. In the other Senate race, incumbent Republican David Perdue ran against Democrat Jon Ossoff and Libertarian candidate Shane Hazel. And unless something changes in a recount, Senator Perdue received 49.7% of the vote, just short of the 50% needed to win. And that means that there will be a runoff election between the top 2 finishers. Bye, Shane. So what happens next? Well, Democrat challengers Warnock and Ossoff would have to win their races to split the Senate 50-50. And that means that Vice President Kamala Harris, who is also the president of the Senate, would have the authority of casting tie-breaking votes to confirm White House cabinet members and nominations of Supreme Court justices and United States Circuit Court judges. Lucky for Perdue and Loeffler, and the rest of the country, Georgia is a pretty red state. In total, Republicans scored more votes than Democrats in both Senate races, and while Republicans do have a slight edge, Democrats are not going to take this lying down, and they're already pouring millions of dollars into both Warnock and Ossoff's campaigns in the hope of flipping both seats. And Democrats are absolutely thrilled by that possibility.
Now we take Georgia, and then we change the world. Yeah! Now we take Georgia, and then we change America.
And if you think that Republicans are going to play that quote over and over again until Election Day, you'd be right. You see, in the general election, Republicans gained more than a dozen House seats, and that trend is expected to continue into the 2022 midterms, which means that Democrats may lose their majority in 2 years. And Chuck Schumer shouting like a radical in the middle of the street is not helping.
Now we take Georgia, and then we change America.
Speaking of not helping, some Democrats have called for other methods to win Georgia. In a now deleted tweet, New York Magazine's Eric Levitz made a dubious suggestion. These runoffs will decide which party controls the Senate, whether we'll have any hope of a large stimulus/climate bill. If you have the means and fervor to make a temporary move to Georgia, believe anyone who registers by December 7th can vote in these elections. FYI, this is illegal, so don't do it. But it's okay though, because Levitz clarified that he was mostly joking. Got it. But then, days later, Andrew Yang, the former presidential candidate and current sellout to CNN, made a special announcement.
My family is moving to Georgia. The Yang Yang's heading to Georgia.
And of course, people had good reason to assume that Yang moving to Georgia meant that he would also be voting there in the January runoffs. To be clear, I am heading to Georgia to get out the vote, canvass, knock on doors, and let people know how important the special Senate races are. Yang never averaged higher than 5% during his entire presidential campaign, but he thinks he's going to influence Georgia voters? I'm so sure. I do not plan on voting myself. I already cast a vote in New York. On to Georgia. Yang saying that he can't vote in Georgia because he already cast a vote in New York makes no sense, because he could vote in the general election in New York, then move to Georgia, register to vote, and then cast a ballot in the January runoff. People are so eager to believe ill of others. Maybe it's because you work at CNN, I don't know.
Americans have gotten one $1,200 check in 6 months. That's less than $7 a day. We deserve better.
$7 a day? You're not supposed to live off of a stimulus check. It's designed to stimulate the economy. Now, I'm not saying that some people aren't struggling, but Yang is leaving out some pretty big details. He neglected to mention that tens of millions of Americans received federal unemployment insurance benefits equaling $600 a week, and also benefited from the billions of dollars pumped into the Paycheck Protection Program. Regardless, you know what would be better than stimulus from the federal government? States ending lockdowns, reopening the economy, and putting more emphasis on personal responsibility. Nah, that would be too easy.
Join us at Humanity Forward so we can push Congress to pass universal basic income and cash relief.
Oh right, the pipe dream that is the freedom dividend. That's Yang's answer to everything. Man, this guy's a one-trick pony, huh? So, for the left to flip either of the Georgia Senate seats, they're gonna do what they do best: lie.
Corrupt Senator Kelly Loeffler, by far the richest person in Congress, doesn't want you to know about the luxury private jet she bought with your tax money.
So why did she feature it in a campaign ad?
Kelly used her personal plane to bring stranded Georgians home safely.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that she wants you to know about that plane.
Last year, Loeffler bought a Bombardier Challenger 300 jet, which she and her husband owned through a shell company named after Loeffler's $10 million Atlanta mansion.
No, they own it through an aircraft trust at TVPX. A well-known trust service is not a shell company, so that's another lie.
Her financial disclosures show the jet is worth up to $25 million.
The way these financial disclosures work, the jet is listed in a category of $5 million to $25 million. In reality, the 2010 Bombardier Challenger 300 that Loeffler and her husband bought in 2018 lists for $9.7 million. The jet is 9 years old, so it can't possibly be worth $25 million. And also, who cares? Loeffler and her husband are worth $500 million. It would be wrong if they didn't own a private jet. On a side note, did you know that Loeffler owns the Atlanta Dream, a WNBA team? And according to her financial disclosure, her private jet is worth more than an entire professional women's basketball team. And that's surprising, considering the immense popularity of the WNBA.
Corrupt Kelly Loeffler was able to put the cost of her private jet onto the taxpayers through a loophole in Trump's tax bill.
Oh, a loophole, right. Loophole is a word that Democrats use to label sections of laws that they don't like. And notice that they keep calling her Corrupt Kelly.
Corrupt Senator Kelly Loeffler.
Corrupt is a word that Democrats use when attacking rich Republicans, even if they didn't earn billions of dollars from foreign countries by using their big guy father's influence. So this attack ad is from a political action committee named Really American. And every single claim they made, well, outside of Loeffler owning a private jet, is an outright lie. And not even Georgia Democrats will go to the extreme of slandering Loeffler, but they come close. After buying a private jet to hop between Georgia and DC, Loeffler may have used Trump tax giveaway to write off multi-million-dollar plane. Oh, may have, got it. Notice what they're doing here? The Georgia Democrats can't definitively say that she did anything corrupt, but they sure do insinuate that she did. You see how this works, guys? Then Midas Touch, another political action committee, made an ad calling her Looting Loeffler.
One senator in particular irks me. A Senator Kelly Loeffler. Not elected, but appointed just a couple months ago.
Appointed! I just can't with Judge Janine.
Records show Loeffler and her husband sold stock valued between $1.3 and $3.1 million.
Kelly Loeffler bought and sold stock shortly after a classified briefing on the virus.
They knew the market was going to tank, and they sold based on that inside information.
Midas Touch left out one important word, though, and that word is allegedly. Here's the original clip.
I'm sick and tired of people in Washington using inside information to benefit themselves. They knew the market was going to tank, and they sold based on that inside information. Here are 4 U.S. senators who allegedly did just that.
So weird that Midas Touch never called out Democrat Senator Dianne Feinstein for allegedly doing the same thing. But again, you know how all of this works. So if the allegations against these senators were true, there would only be one acceptable solution.
Go to jail!
But the allegations against Loeffler made the least sense, considering that she is married to Jeffrey Sprecher, the owner of the New York Stock Exchange. So any impropriety would not only destroy her political career and reputation, but would also destroy her husband. So I'm gonna say that if there's anyone who would be adverse to insider trading, it would be these two. And besides, Loeffler had a credible explanation.
I went to the Senate after a nearly 3-decade career in the private sector, in financial services, where I conducted myself with the highest levels of integrity. Third-party managers manage all of our investments. I have no communication with them. I don't buy or sell any of my stocks. My portfolio managers are looking at the economy, they're looking at earnings, they're looking at any number of factors. I don't even know what factors they take into account.
As it turned out, in June 2020, the Senate Ethics Committee dismissed the insider trading inquiry into Senator Loeffler because they didn't find any evidence of wrongdoing. And even though Loeffler was cleared 5 months ago, con artists like Midas Touch plaster trash like this all over Twitter and Facebook. Think that Midas Touch is afraid of getting fact-checked or suspended for spreading false information? Of course not, because you know why. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, sharing, and slamming that like button. And while you're at it, check out the new merch in my Teespring store. Thanks again for tuning in. Be sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. And as always, I hope to see you next time.